A jolly good evening to everyone there under the sound of my voice, and welcome to the first Afia Sports show of the week. This is the second week of the year 2026, and we're glad to be part of this, coming into your homes and everywhere you find yourself watching Afia TV, particularly the Afia Sports franchise. We welcome you once again to the Afia Sports review spot on Afia TV. The frequencies have not changed. They remain the same: channel 254 DSTV, channel 17 Go TV, and channel 748 Free TV. Welcome, guys. My name is Sisi Emechebe, also known as Sisi the Rabbi, and I'm not doing this alone. I have two wonderful sports personalities that are here who will go through the review dynamics today. Remember, this is the review spot. We're looking at things that happened last week, and then sort of we'll touch a bit of what's happening and what will happen this coming week. But you need to get the right context, and who better to give this context than the fellows that I have here with me who are really well versed in the world of sports. First of all, we have here one of our regular ones, a co-host. I call him the divinator. Don't ask me which divining tools he uses, but he knows that he can explain better himself. None other than Divine Onwoka, who makes a return to the Afia Sports franchise. Divine, good to see you.
Thank you, sir. It's a pleasure to be here. I missed you guys so much.
And
Happy New Year to you all.
Happy New Year. We missed you too. I know how it is. Sports, you can't keep away from sports. Sports is life, and life is sports.
Of course, yeah.
And talk about life. I have somebody here, a very, very good friend of mine, who's already smiling like a Cheshire cat. But it's still too early in the year. And he's somebody who he wears many hats when it comes to sports generally. When you talk about somebody who can actually sit down behind the camera and then talk about what's going on in the world of sports, you tick the boxes there. Then when you talk about somebody who is there on the battlefield proper, coordinating what's going down as a referee, a professional referee, his box is also ticked there. So it's my pleasure to welcome once again to the Afia Sports review spot, my dear friend Kelechi Nnaji. He's a sports analyst, sports presenter, and also a referee, a professional referee who is very not biased at all, very, very frank, very, very fair in all his dealings, or at least from what I've observed, I know. So, Kelechi, good to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you, Sisi, and thank you for that introduction. I don't know if anyone has ever done better than that, but yes, it feels good to be back here, and I say Happy New Year to you all. The New Year is just 12 days old, but it's been an eventful one, especially as it concerns Nigeria, with the optimism, revolving around the whole nation because of the Super Eagles. It's actually an exciting year already, and we hope to, finish this Afcon at the top.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't have said that better, because the optimism is really contagious all over the Nigerian, land space and everywhere. Everybody who is Nigerian is so proud to be a Nigerian as far as Afcon is concerned. I mean, I remember the words of Divan Oburudu. I never expected it. Many of us never expected it. Yeah. I mean, Nigeria were always one of the contenders when it comes to African Cup of Nations, but we never really expected them to be this good. But we're pleasantly surprised, and we hope it goes all the way to the 18th of June when that final. January, I beg your pardon. When the final comes.
Why are you postponing our final?
Even if that Jackie would have beat. No, they can't
postponing our final.
Play for 6 months, 6-month tournament. How? Where? How? Who bought you? Who exists?
Clubs and go back to play.
But please don't postpone our joy.
No, I won't.
Come 18th, we will be celebrating.
18th of January. Yeah, you can take that to the bank. And speaking of taking to the bank, we'll go to the bank to pull out headline news. And we're going straight to the headline news we have here. First of all, NPFL. Those of us who have been waiting for the NPFL, the Nigerian Premier Football League, to resume, we don't have to wait any longer. We're just 2 days away from the resumption of the second stanza of the Nigerian Premier Football League. We have missed the league so much. It's been so exciting. And we have match day 20 kicking off next tomorrow. That is Wednesday, the 14th of January, the year of our Lord 2026. We're going to see action, live action. We'll give you more details as the day approaches, but we know that one of the key games we're going to be looking at will be at the Cathedral, where Rangers International, our darling Flying Antelopes, will be locking horns with Rivers United, who at the moment are the favourites to win the NPFL because of their form. But anything can happen in the world of football. So just a reminder, keep your calendars ready and ticked, because the round of 20 games are going to kick off in the NPFL this Wednesday, the 14th of January. And we talked about Afcon. We are all about good news, but we also have the responsibility as journalists to give you all the news, whether it's good, bad, or ugly. And part of the bad news concerning Afcon is that Skipo himself, the captain of the Super Eagles of Nigeria, Wilfred Ndidi, will be missing the clash against Morocco, unfortunately. So the Atlas Lions of Morocco are not going to see the leadership of Wilfred Ndidi on the pitch because he's suspended. He even picked up a slight injury there, which has been assessed. What is a suspected hamstring injury? But whether that was a severe injury or not is inconsequential within the scheme of things as far as this match is concerned, because the yellow card that he picked, the second yellow card in the tournament after the one he picked, I think it was against Tanzania. Was it not against Uganda? Is it Uganda or Tanzania? One of the two sides.
It was against Mozambique.
Mozambique, sorry, yes. That was the previous game. Yes, the round of 16. He picked up a yellow card there. Then he picked another yellow card against Algeria after battering and bruising them. And his reward for that is missing the semi-final against Morocco. The favourites, I dare say, up against the hosts. And he's not going to be part of that, unfortunately. Then the next one is this. This is good news. We always talked about that. I mean, Kelechi can bear witness to that. We've been talking about that. It's not a matter of if, but when. Over the last couple of years, about Victor Osimhen. It seemed as though that was a target that was not easy to attain. But the manner in which he has closed that gap has been phenomenal. What am I talking about for those who don't understand what we're talking about? Victor Osimhen is just 2 goals away from equaling the long-standing record, national record, held by Rashidi Yekini of blessed memory, 37 goals for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. When Osimhen scored the first goal against Algeria, that was his 35th goal for the Super Eagles of Nigeria in just, I think, 50 appearances. Yeah. So he's done that in less time than others. What a prolific striker who Rigobert Song had the nerve to say is not world class. But let's let that slide. Though we'll tolerate an insult for now until after the Afcon Cup of Nations. Then the banter drums will drop, will roll. We'll get Rigobert Song, we're coming for you. Anyway, so the news is that he is just 2 goals shy of the national team record of 37 goals for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. So Osimhen, he needs just 2 goals to equal that record. He needs a hat-trick or 3 goals in the last 2 games to equal that record. So those are the headlines that we have there. Now, the first bit of news, every Nigerian is excited about that. We saw quarterfinal action and it's happened, and now we are down to the last 4. And we dare say that these are the 4 best teams in the African Cup of Nations. And it's evenly spaced in the sense that we have 2 North African representatives and 2 West African representatives. So the North and the West are really doing a fantastic job. And that means this coming Wednesday, by 6 p.m., Senegal will be playing against Egypt in the first semi-finals. While by 9 p.m., Nigeria, the Super Eagles of Nigeria, will be playing against the Atlas Lions of Morocco by 9 p.m. And that's all in a bid to find out who's going to be in the final in the African Cup of Nations. The last 4. I'll start with you, Kelechi, before I move to Divine. I know that he's checking his either the liver or the spare or all those divining tools, automobiles. Anyway, let's leave that. So, okay, I know, Kelechi, I need to know. The excitement is rife, but is there any note of caution and maybe is there any kind of context you want to give to this that will make Nigerians both expectant but at the same time apprehensive? What are your thoughts?
First of all, you don't throw away caution out of the window because in every competition you have to treat every game like it is the finals. That's the mindset to go into every tournament, especially if you have the idea of winning it. Because believe me, not every nation that came to the Afcon believed they could win it. Because every team would assess themselves before going into a tournament. Some people would set their targets at, okay, let's make it out of the group stage. I would say, for example, Tanzania, before this particular Afcon, they have never been, they have never made it out of the group stage. So making it out of the group stage was a big win for them. Mozambique as well. But for a nation like Nigeria, we have to say it's the way it is. It's the most dominant nation when it comes to African Cup of Nations. Yes, we do not have the most trophies, as Egypt has 7. But Nigeria has won the most medals in the African Cup of Nations history. So you understand that every tournament, every Afcon, Nigeria always comes in with the thoughts of winning it. So if you really want to win, you have to always trade with caution because every opponent is dangerous. And now the challengers are Morocco. That's the #1 team in Africa. Do not forget, number 11 ranked team in the world. And there's a reason they are there. The first African nation to go to the World Cup and make it to the semi-final. So you would expect Morocco to pose a lot of threats. And they also have the entire nation to their backing. They have the home fans, and they have so many things playing in their favor. It's also their stadium. So, you expect Morocco to pose a very serious threat. But then there's something Nigeria has working for them. For the first time in my lifetime, please don't ask me how old I am, but for the first time in my lifetime, I am seeing the Super Eagles dominate every game they play. Now, I've seen the Super Eagles win before. At least I witnessed the Afcon 2013 win, but they were never this dominant.
True.
They were never this dominant. So for the first time in my lifetime, Super Eagles is dominating every game they play. You see the high spirits. You see that everyone is fighting for everyone. The game against Mozambique, there was a little, situation there between Osimhen, Lukman, and Bruno Emechi. But I think that thing actually fired them up, to understand that they are playing for the team. They are playing for the nation. They are playing for us, not for themselves. So, going into this game against Morocco, believe me, Morocco, they are already pissing their pants. They are, but that's exactly what it is, because when you're facing a team that has a striker in the person of Victor Osimhen, you have to be scared. The world best defenders are scared at his sight. Not to talk of this means no. I'm not trying to disrespect the Moroccan defenders, but at least Naif Guard. And what's the name of the other guy, the one that played in the Premier League before, which Wolverhampton Wanderers, Roman Saiz.
Yeah, Roman Saiz.
The captain. None of them has the sort of aura that the defenders Victor Osimhen has faced before has, and Victor Osimhen will always come out top. And it's not just about Victor Osimhen. The beautiful thing about this team is that in every department of the team will have top-notch quality in every department. Now, let me go to the captain missing this game. That's Wilfred Ndidi. First of all, I would say that yellow card he picked up could have been avoided, but no problem. Why I say no problem is because we have much more quality on the bench. Not better quality, but we have quality. You can even say equal quality on the bench in the person of Raphael Onyedika. Nigerians have not seen enough of Onyeka. Take it from me. Onyedika, sorry, not Onyeka. Raphael Onyedika. Yes. Nigerians have not seen enough of Raphael Onyedika. The only problem is that he's still young and very raw. Ndidi is more experienced. But you will see Onyedika and you ask yourself, why has he been on the bench? But I'll answer you that question before it even happens. The only reason he's on the bench is because it is a team sport and everyone cannot play. That's all. But the guy is good.
Okay. So, you've hit some very, very salient points there. And at this point, I want to bring in, Divine. There was something he said at the beginning when we were talking about what we've witnessed in a lifetime. I've been privileged to see this. I've seen some generations. Yeah, but this is the most recent dominant force or dominating Nigerian side.
I had to use myself because I know you had seen a better team.
Yeah, I've seen. Trust me, I've seen many reigns. I've seen Nigerians really pull their stuff. Under Clemens Westerhoff, it was really. But I'm coming to this. There's something that you pointed out that Kelechi pointed out, and is the dominance, the consistency. Every single game Nigeria has played, even and when you see, for instance, the goals, 4 goals have been considered, 14 goals have been scored, 4 considered. Those 4 came in 3 games, and these are goals that should have been avoided. In fact, I'll dare say the most difficult game was the first game because it was the first game.
It was the first game.
No, that was the only game in which the opponents were at par with Nigeria in terms of scoreline because they equalized.
Yeah.
So when Semi Ajayi scored, the Tanzanian player equalized before Lukman gave that blaster that was the winning goal. Ever since then, Nigeria have been in winning positions up till this point. So that's why I had to point that out. So the dominance is very, very clear. But considering that dominance, I want to come to the issue of. He has already raised the point, but I want to also look at the fact that the coach, the manager, every secretary, who by the way is somebody that I admire so much, and it makes me feel I've eaten humble pie a lot since that time, because not that I had anything against him when he came in, but the fact that there were other options. I mean, Kelechi knows what I'm talking about. There were options that were there.
We were discussing it.
We had that, yeah. There were options that were there.
Exactly.
People that I felt would have done a better job and will not polarize opinion amongst Nigerians. But he has proved everyone wrong. So I'm firmly in his camp. I support him for proving all of us wrong. And having said that, that means the manager might have some tricks up his sleeve. Why am I saying this? Kelechi has pointed out the fact that Rafael Onyedika is most likely, I'm just rephrasing what he said, most likely the replacement, natural replacement for Ndidi. But we've not even talked about, first of all, the fact that there's an Al Hassan Yusuf that's on the bench, who don't even know what he's going to bring to the table. There is of course, Rafael Onyedika is there.
Yeah.
Also, the fact that you can decide, depending on how the game is going, to play an offensive double pivot and then one creative midfielder. Like, for instance, he might decide to play Frank the Tank Onyeka as the holding midfielder, and then have maybe Alex Iwobi, who is the less side of Iwobi right now, the better.
Don't forget,
and Fisher Dele Bashiru. No, that's what I'm saying. Now, having maybe an offensive double pivot at the top.
And also Tochukwu Nnadi,
who can actually play a defensive game too. So there are so the point I'm trying to make is that there are options. Yeah. So put yourself in Eric Chell's shoes. Your objective is to win, not primarily to please the Nigerian fans, which he has been doing anyway. But the pleasing of the Nigerian fans has been like the end. Has been the end product of what he's doing, which is actually setting up to win games.
Yeah, exactly.
You are in the shoes of Eric Sekuchel. Yeah. What would you do? How would you select that midfield? How would the midfield choose itself against a sterner test? Because Morocco, should be told, because of we have the Moroccan players to deal with. We have the current African player of the year to deal with, that's Ashraf Hakimi. We have the 12th man to deal with. We have the 13th man to deal with. You know, who is the 13th man? The 13th man is the laser. They might even go and get that green laser and other lasers. We know what they can do.
Yeah.
But having said that,
it's a normal thing. It's a normal thing over there.
When they don't even fear referees, they put the laser in referees' eyes. There's the players.
Over there.
So having said that, knowing their shenanigans and their antics, put yourself in the shoes of Eric Sekuchel. How would you get that midfield ensemble? And who would you select that would be well suited for this game? Because every task has a tool and every tool has a task.
Okay, I would actually go for Onyeka. The one who should, as in who we feel.
That's Frank Onyeka.
Onyeka, not Onyeka, Onyeka.
Yes.
Who we feel should replace Boniface.
Ndidi.
Our captain. So, because I know that the North Africans are kind of more, physical. That is what I know. They are more physical in their style of play. So I'll go for Onyeka because he knows how to, so far what I've seen, I've not seen much of him, but what I've seen so far, he knows how to, bring the pressure down, to absorb the pressure. He can do the marking. If Eric Sekuchel can bring two pivots, they do the marking, calm the pressure down, stop the flow of the game in the midfield when it's coming from the opponents. While Alex Iwobi, who has been so wonderful in this Afcon, I have to say,
Prime Perlo.
I'm telling you, he's the king of pre-assists right now.
Yeah, the true passes are now die in this part of the world.
We are like, how? Is this Alex Iwobi or is this someone else we are looking at? So I'll allow Frank Onyeka to be there, and then with someone else at the midfield as the double pivots, calming the pressure and stopping the flow of the game in the midfield when it comes from the opponents, while Alex Iwobi does the creative movements because he has been doing that perfectly well. So this is what my midfield setup will be like. While Ademola Lookman, Osimhen, and
Akko Adams.
Man, our attack I'm like, I have to say, this is a different Nigeria that we're watching. We've not really, like against Algeria, everyone was like, are we watching Nigeria or is there something? Like, I give my hats off to that.
You wanted to say something because I want to bring in on the issue of the one or two decisions.
Okay.
Yes, it has to do with Nigeria, but you still say what you wanted to say right now. But there are a couple of decisions regarding in that game. and the Algerians were so they were so violated. They felt so violated that they wanted to clutch at straws and just pick anything. But even if those controversial incidents did not show up, would have still pounded them like Semu.
Yeah,
It's very, very clear. But please, take us through. There was a particular incident involving, I think in the 7th minute or so, Semi Ajayi.
Yeah.
And was it a handball? Was it not a handball? And all that. Yeah, please just give us your thoughts on that.
Okay. That's the situation. If you remember, I will always say something about the laws of the game. Handball being one of the most controversial laws of the game, because 95% of the football fans do not understand handball rules. That's the truth. So, whenever it goes against you, you would cry wolf. But whenever it goes in your favor, you would always say, okay, the natural hand movement, ball to hand, that's the thing we hear most times, from the outside. But this situation, the laws of the game, first of all, let me, take it to put the laws of the game itself. It is the law 12. That's the fouls and misconduct. That's where you find handball. So, you find handball, and under the handball rules, it clearly states that not every ball that hit the hand is penalized as a handball offense. Now, the first idea to this is the hand is part of the body, and if you're playing the football with every other part of the body except the hand, there will always be situations where you cannot do anything if the ball is to hit your hand. That's where you get the likes of accidental handball, hand supporting the movement of the body, hand being in a natural position and all of that. So now that takes us to the situation that happened in that game very early on. That was even before Nigeria scored a goal.
If we could just pause, because we want to give context right now.
Okay.
If the MCR, could you just help us while he's talking, give us that clip so that people can see and then be guided as he's explaining exactly what transpired. The clip that has to do with this that handball incident. Yeah, so we're going to see the clip in a few seconds right now so that you can watch. So yeah, it's right there. It's coming on the screen. So please just take us through.
All right. So like I was saying, you're seeing the situation, and that was a cross coming in from an Algerian attacker, and Shemi Ajayi was trying to defend his goal. Now, first of all, the first thing you look at in this sort of situations is the distance between the two players, and then the hand movement of the defending player. Now, Shemi Ajayi in this situation initially had his hand in a natural position. The hand that was later outstretched initially was on his body. Now, that means that he knew not to throw his hand out and make his body unnaturally bigger. But then the moment the ball was coming in, the natural instinct of every defender is to block every shot going to his post, block every pass going to his post. He outstretched his left foot to block that cross, and then the ball hit him on his thigh.
Deflected.
And the moment it hit him on his thigh, and also with the moment he outstretched his left foot, his hand would follow. Yes. It is a natural movement. The same way, if you're walking, if your leg is moving, your hand is moving. Yes. It is a natural movement.
Synchronized
yes.
movement.
It is, I don't know if there's anything like that, but let me just say it is the law of motion.
Yeah.
Yes. So when the leg is moving, the hand would go with it. So outstretching the leg to block that cross, the hand was already out of the body. At that point in time, it was already making the body unnaturally, it was making the body bigger, but naturally.
Yes.
Not unnaturally. It is making the body bigger because now that hand covers a space above the leg. Now, the moment the ball hits the leg and went to the hand, it cannot be penalized because the idea of the defender is to block the ball with his leg. But then it deflected on the leg and hit the hand. And the laws of the game is very clear that in a situation where a defender tries to play, now I will have to clarify the word play, because a lot of people have been arguing with that playing football means when the player is deliberate about what he wants to do or deliberate about playing the ball. But football also understands that even when a defender is blocking a shot, he is playing. It is part of playing.
Yes.
You throw your body on the line to block a shot, you are playing. you jump in the air to knock the ball out, you are playing because you know what you want to do. But then it doesn't mean that you kick the ball. So the moment Shemi Ajayi stretched his foot out to block that shot, he has played the ball. So if a defender, while playing the ball hits other part of his body and goes to the hand, it is not penalized. If it hits other part of the body and goes to the hand, it is not penalized. The law even went as far as explaining that most times it would happen either when a player is trying to knock the ball out with his head and then the ball goes to his hand, it is not penalized, or a player is trying to block a shot and it hits on the thighs and goes to the hand, it is not penalized, or when a player is trying to kick out the ball and he hits his own hand, it is not penalized. But there are situations that would look similar to this Ajayi situation that would be penalized. That is when you see a second movement of the hand. Now, that hand came out because the leg was moving. Now, but had it been Ajayi while trying to block the cross, he couldn't get it well, and then he saw that the ball was going past him, and you saw a second movement of the hand. He tried to block the ball from going. That's a second movement of the hand. That one would be punished.
Yeah.
Now that is where the referee's discretion comes in, where the referee's attention comes in. The referee has to pay close attention to the situation. How did it happen? Was there a second movement of the hand? And so if there was, it will be punished. But in this case, we all saw the video now, there was no second movement of the hand. The ball hit his thigh before going to his hand, so no penalty.
That's brilliant. That's just what it looks like. Because most times we run these things based on sentiment. When I say we, I'm talking about fans generally. And I mean, we are Nigerians. We are more than pleased with the outcome of it anyway. Well, I don't know if it would be this calm if it were the other way around, and maybe Algeria had themselves in that kind of situation, and then we'll start saying foul, now CAF have come again, all that, you know. But it's still good to do things lawfully according to the laws of the game. And like I always say, it's time and time again, that in a typical game of football, there are about 350 decisions per 90 minutes, and about 300 of those decisions are subjective, which means the referee is blindsided most times, more times than not. So you have to cut them some slack. And when they see those replays and then give the rules or give the verdicts according to the rules, you have to celebrate them and clap for them. So it is a brilliant one indeed. Okay, considering the fact that the next sports show will take place after the finals, I won't mind, after the semi-finals, I won't mind taking predictions right now. So let's start with Senegal, Egypt. Let's start with you, Divine. Senegal, Egypt. Give me a Divine prediction.
Okay. I'm just in Senegal, skill through on this.
Because they're just scaling through, like skill. So they will say the Egyptians that you see today, you see no more.
Exactly.
Okay.
2-0.
2-0. Oh, really? That's gutsy. Well, Egypt have really been struggling. They've not been very impressive. Yeah, they have not been impressive. I have to be honest.
But they just always, come out tops. But I'll give this to Senegal.
They are 7-time champions. So, I mean, we would expect nothing less. Kelechi, your take.
You know, even though I think Egypt would have been a better opponent for Nigeria in the finals, I still do not see them defeating Senegal because Egypt have not been impressive. I don't know how they've managed to make it thus far, but they've not been impressive because I've actually paid keen attention to their games. But I expect Senegal to be their last bus stop in this Afcon. Senegal has some quality, but Egypt is still going to disrupt them because Egypt, they have a game plan that's been working for them. Sit deep and go with Mamouche and Salah. It's been working, but when they meet a disciplined defense, I don't think it's going to work, the way it has always worked. So I think Senegal will go through, but it would be a 1-0 game.
1-0 game.
Yeah,
okay,
1-0.
Fine. And now to the big one. No disrespect to Senegal, Egypt. The big one, the hosts up against the favorites. I mean, I'm saying this with all humility, but it's the reality.
Can we please leave the favorites with Morocco, please? I don't mind playing the underdog game here.
Well, if you want to play the underdog game, no problem. Now we cannot but talk about what we have seen. We have seen with our eyes.
Definitely.
So let's stick with you right now. What are your thoughts? Who is likely to go through? Are we likely to see an all West African final or a West African? Because naturally, you both of you have agreed that a West African team will be in the final.
Yeah.
But that's one agreement. I need to get the other agreement. I don't know who will join them, whether it's this West African team or another North African team. So I'm starting with you.
If I talk, say, Morocco go win, no go beat me.
Well, I'll go beat you now. Well, objective journalism. What's going to happen outside this place? People are watching. Nigerians, they watch you.
Talk now.
So if they hook you, no hold me.
No. When I say Una, I don't mean the two of Una. I mean Nigerians, people watching us right now. But, that's a joke anyway. There's no way I see Morocco beating Nigeria. Like I said, Nigeria has only gotten better at each game. It feels like after this one, they take cognizance of their mistakes in the last game and they do better in the next game. They've gone, from strength to strength. And I think this game against Morocco is another game for them to show that they keep learning and they know how to dispatch their opponents. So I actually expect Nigeria, to score 3 goals in this one and defeat Morocco. Morocco, they do not have the best defense. They do not have the best attack. I mean, they have been in this game, in the tournaments because somehow they just know how to find the win. Not that they've really, blown away their opponents in every game that they've played. And I expect, the quality of Nigeria to shut them out and, get the win. I'll be going for a 3-1 victory for the Super Eagles.
3-1. It's a good thing you said 3-1 victory. So is it safe to assume that somebody will continue his run? The only person to score in every single game, Brahim Diaz?
No, I don't think he's going to score.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't think he will score in this one. I mean, yeah, he has been on a fairy tale run. That's the way I see it. It's not like he's been super exceptional. He's just been getting goals, scrappy goals, and sometimes even stealing the ones that are not his. So, but, he's been getting the goals. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Really stealing?
Yeah, the last goal he
stole it now. It was
the last goal was supposed to be El Kabi's goal, but he poked it in. So... I don't think it's going to get a goal against Nigeria, but somehow they will still score a goal. But I don't think it's going to be Brahim Diaz.
Okay. So
because he will be coming in from Bassi's side. I mean, there's no way that
Bassi the tank.
there is no way. There's no way there. So
I don't see it happening.
Okay, let's not be too overconfident. I know we are supporting Nigeria, and at the same time, let's still tell ourselves the truth that Morocco is not to be overlooked.
Definitely.
They are the hosts.
Definitely.
And let's tell ourselves the truth, they have been playing good football. They have not been bad in their games.
Okay.
I'm not saying they are spectacular as Nigeria, but they've been playing good football at their own level. So I'll say this, yes, Nigeria will still come out tops. I'm seeing a 2-1 victory for Nigeria. I don't know whether Brahim Diaz or whoever would score, but I see Osimhen grabbing one of the 2 goals. Yeah, that's what I see. So it's going to be a tight game. It's going to be a very interesting game. The hosts versus the favorites. But I'm seeing the favorites proving why they are the favorites. So it's a 2-1 win for Nigeria and Osimhen scoring.
Okay, that's interesting. Even though I don't see much of a difference between 2-1 and 3-1, but all the same, it's good. All right, guys, we'll be right back after this short break because we'll have to move beyond Nigeria and the African continent and look at what's been happening in the world of sports outside of the African continent. Back to the Afia Sports Review Spot on Afia TV. Of course, we're moving straight to happenings around the world, in the world of sports. But we're going to stick in Europe and stay in England. What happened in England? Some very, very crazy things happened in England because the FA Cup third round went on. And the FA Cup third round is when the big boys join up the FA Cup. The FA Cup, from the first round to the second round, the lower league sides get involved in the English football pyramid. So they don't get the big boys, particularly the Premier League sides, don't get involved in that. So the third round is usually the first port of call. And you're looking at some results. I just mentioned the results that you need to hear about there. In the FA Cup third round for this past week, we saw games, of course, Port Vale beat Fleetwood 1-0. MK Dons had a 1-1 draw against Oxford United, but Oxford United went through 4-3 on penalties. Preston North End lost at home to Wigan Athletic. Wrexham and Nottingham Forest had a 6-goal thriller, 3-3, but Wrexham beat Nottingham Forest 4-3 on penalties. Wolverhampton Wanderers who have received a new lease of life somehow, thrashed Shrewsbury 6-1 with Larson grabbing a hat-trick. Then Cheltenham lost at home to Leicester City. Macclesfield did what was unthinkable and they beat the defending champions, Crystal Palace, beating them 2-1, so they're out of the tournament. Then Everton and Sunderland had a 1-1 draw, but Sunderland beat Everton 3-0 on penalties with their goalkeeper having a hat-trick of penalty saves. Fantastic indeed. Really? And then Salford and Swindon Town, their match has been postponed. It will be played tonight. Boreham lost at home to Burton 5-0. Stoke City beat Coventry 1-0. Ipswich Town beat Blackpool 2-1. Doncaster Rovers lost at home to Southampton 3-2. Burnley thrashed Millwall 5-1. Sheffield Wednesday lost at home to Brentford 2-0. Fulham, without Calvin Bassey and Alex Iwobi, beat Middlesbrough 3-1. Newcastle United and Bournemouth shared a 6-goal thriller, 3-all draw, but Newcastle went through 7-6 on penalties. Manchester City were the biggest winners in terms of volume, not quality, because they ended up beating Exeter 10-1 in that game at the Etihad Stadium. Grimsby Town, the Man U killers, that's EFL Cup, by the way, they beat Western Supermare 3-2. Then Cambridge lost at home to Birmingham City 3-2. And then we saw Bristol City thrash Watford 5-1. Tottenham Hotspur, normal. They lost at home to Aston Villa 2-1. It was a good evening for Aston Villa. Then Charlton Athletic lost at home to Chelsea Football Club 5-1. That's Liam Rossignol's first win as a Chelsea manager. Derby County lost at home to Leeds United. Swansea had a 2-all draw with West Bromwich Albion, but West Brom beat Swansea 6-5 on penalties. Norwich beat Walsall 5-1. Hull City and Blackburn Rovers had a goalless draw, but Hull City won 4-3 on penalties. Sheffield United lost at home to Mansfield in a 7-goal thriller, 4-3 in favour of Mansfield. West Ham United beat QPR, Queen's Park Rangers in London Derby 2-1. Manchester United, 10-man Manchester United lost at home 2-1 to Brighton and Hove Albion. Then Liverpool will play Barnsley tonight by 8:45 p.m. Salford will play Swindon Town by the same time. Then, of course, the record winners of the FA Cup, Arsenal Football Club, 14-time winners, thrashed Portsmouth 4-1 at Fratton Park. And Gabriel Martinelli, who was actually on the wrong side of the news because of the issue between him and Conor Bradley in the Liverpool game, ended up grabbing a hat-trick in that game. Set piece FC, ole, ole. So many people are singing about that. But, that was magical. So 3 key moments in the FA Cup, this round, 3 FA Cup fixtures. First of all, Manchester City, it's to be expected. Now, Man City, I didn't see them scoring 10 goals. But funnily enough, did Haaland even start that game? He did not. Otherwise, but he didn't even score.
He played the entire minutes, but he didn't score.
He didn't score any goal, which is strange.
Yeah,
very strange.
Very strange. But I think it was Antoine Semenyo who stole the show.
Yeah,
his first game, and he gave an assist and a goal. I think it's a beautiful start for Semenyo.
Yeah, very, very good. Wonderful for him. Then we've talked about Man United crashing out. They just can't get things right at the moment. Darren Fletcher losing in his first game.
Just a quick piece of information on Manchester United. Now, let me tell you guys that the least number of games a Premier League club can ever play in a season, in all competitions, the least is 40 matches. And that is what Manchester United is going to play this season.
40 matches.
They were eliminated in the first round, their first competitive round of the EFL Cup, and also the first round of the FA Cup. First round for them anyway, because this is the 3rd round of the FA Cup. And they got eliminated just in their first matches, meaning you plus those 2 matches to the 38 league matches that they were playing. That would be 40. The last time Manchester United played 40 matches a season was in the 1914/1915 season. The world oldest man, who is 116 years old, was 5 years old then. This is the sort of record Manchester United breaks now.
Man United, it's sad.
Let's not talk much about
our time is already up, so I can't really talk about that. Of course, Arsenal beating Portsmouth was no surprise there.
I like the emphasis you laid on Arsenal anyway. It's cool. It's cool.
But it's true.
It's cool.
No, it's just a reminder. No.
The record winners, no problem.
Most people are an Arteta fan, but at the same time, it's clear.
it's expected that he should say that about Arsenal.
Yeah.
It's their record, so it belongs to them
Cool.
as long as
Yes.
this tournament
Cool.
is concerned.
Yes.
That they beat Portsmouth is not really a big deal. It was expected.
Okay.
Would you expect Portsmouth to win Arsenal?
Okay, so but Martinelli grabbing a hat trick.
He
so
knows
that's
what I'm
very
talking
important.
about.
No, and
I understand why
we know
you're
he knows what I'm
coming
talking
from.
about.
I understand why you're coming from.
Even whether you know what we're talking about is inconsequential. So finally, congratulations to Barcelona Football Club on winning Real Madrid 3-2 in the second competitive
this camera on my face.
Yeah, Michonos. The second competitive Clasico of the season in the Spanish Super Cup in Jeddah. They beat them 3 goals to Rafinha, grabbing a brace in that game. And, Kylian Mbappe did not feature. He was on the bench anyway. He wasn't part of the starting lineup there. But Gonzalo Garcia, his stand-in, grabbed the goal there. A very, very crazy 45th minute with 3 goals scored in stoppage time in 45 minutes.
Yeah.
But the game went to Barcelona. So congrats to Barcelona. And then things move ahead. We have to end the show right now. Yes. Whatever. All right. Thank you very much, guys, for being with us on the show.
I don't know any. I don't have anything to say
Please.
to Barcelona.
No problem.
I'm the only Messi fan that doesn't like Barcelona.
Fine.
Really?
Okay, Kelechi, no problem. Our time is up. This producer wants to strangle me right now. So, Kelechi, thank you very much for being with us on the show. I appreciate your expertise. Divine, stop being petulant, but thank you very much for being on the show. Thank you very much. Goodness, you do a fantastic job behind the scenes. We really appreciate you. And everybody in MCR, Ebube, and everybody, Moxie, everyone who's doing their job there. We have Zik, Blessed Zik there. And Mecca is around the piece of football. He's Pushu, the still suspect anyway. But thank you very much for being with us. We'll do this again on Thursday during the Banter Box. Till then, remain blessed. I am CC the Rabbi, signing out. Have a blessed day.